Hey YouTube, smoking some Wilderness by McClelland and smoking outside for the first time in I can't even remember when. And that brings me to the topic I wanted to discuss with you today. There is a disorder that many people suffer from during the wintertime called Seasonal Affective Disorder. It goes under the acronym SAD, which is kind of funny. Now, I live in East Tennessee. The weather is warmer, more humid, and in the wintertime we normally get mild winters. We don't get big freezes. We've gotten a few snows this year. We had an ice storm this past weekend, but it went away within 24 hours. I can't imagine what people in the north must go through. People in the northern states like the Dakotas and Minnesota, Wisconsin, I can't imagine. And I've heard that that SAD is particularly prevalent up there. Of course, that makes perfect sense. Their winters are long and cold, and to stay out of the cold and to keep warm, they stay inside. You stay out of the sun, which limits the amount of vitamin D, I think. Limits the amount of vitamin D that you receive. That affects your mood, and just not having regular exposure to the sun will affect how you feel in just a very simple way. We need fresh air and outdoors to regulate our moods, and a lot of us don't get that in the wintertime just because it's so darn cold. And I don't really think I'm suffering from SAD, but I know one thing: I'm sick of the cold. And I'm really happy today because the weather is mild. It's going to be mild for the next few days. So I'm going to take as much of an opportunity as this weather's allowing me and come outside when I can, have a pipe, just sit. And yeah, I'm curious as to what you guys up north do. If you use your pipe to combat the SAD effects, or what's kind of funny is I heard, it's sort of funny, but it's a really clever idea. I've heard of this gadget that you can buy for $60 or $70, and it's actually a light that is bright enough to mimic the effects of the sun, and supposedly if you spend 30 minutes a day under this light doing whatever you do, checking your emails, watching TV, if you spend at least 30 minutes a day with this light on, it's supposed to really, really curb some of the depression that comes from seasonal affective disorder. And I've heard it. I've heard success stories from people who live in the northern states that I were mentioning. But just curious as to how some of you guys combat it, and trying to curb my own small, minute amount of SAD by coming outside, taking a break from the cold. It's going to be back here in a few days. I'm dreading that. Very, very much looking forward to the springtime. But anyways, I hope you guys are well. I hope you're warm, and I hope you're not depressed or down or blue. And if you do find yourself in such a situation and you live in these colder states, force yourself to go outside on a sunny day, bundle up, sit, take your pipe with you, and try to curb the effects of old man winter, at least for another few months, and then we'll be home free to spring.